JonBenét's family now hoping that, plus renewed public interest and new DNA technology, might finally help close this case.
He dressed up as Santa Claus and had visited JonBenét a few days before she died. He said he felt very close to her. He even kept some glitter she gave him and wanted it with his ashes after he died. Many people thought this was strange, but there was no real proof that he hurt JonBenét. A man named Gary Oliva also became a suspect. He lived close to the Ramseys' house and had been arrested later for child pornography. After JonBenét's death, she called a friend and said he had hurt a little girl. This made people very suspicious. But his DNA did not match the DNA found on JonBenét, so he was not charged. Another man, John Mark Carr, also confessed to the crime years later. He said he loved JonBenét and told a reporter that he had hit her in the head with a flashlight. But when police checked, they found he was in another state at the time. His DNA also did not match, so they knew he was not the real killer. Later on, some DNA experts looked at the evidence again. They said the unknown DNA on JonBenét's clothes might have come from the factory where her clothes were made. Sometimes, small bits of DNA can stay on new clothes before they are even worn. This idea made the case even more confusing and left more questions than answers. Today, JonBenét's case is still unsolved. Many people all over the world still think about her and wonder who really assassinated her. Even after all these years, her story continues to touch people's hearts and makes them hope that one day, the real truth will come out. What shocking new clues came to light after JonBenét's death, and could they finally help clear her family's name? Let's delve deeper. Another attack, mishandled evidence, and renewed hope for justice. About 9 months after the very sad and shocking death of JonBenét Ramsey, something really scary and strange happened in Boulder, Colorado. There was another little girl who got attacked while she was sleeping in her bed at home. At the time, she was at home with her mother. Everything changed on what should have been just another peaceful evening. A man entered the house stealthily while the young girl was sleeping in her room. The man managed to enter without creating a lot of noise or causing any visible damage, which allowed him to enter covertly and avoid the mother's immediate notice. This man went straight to the little girl's room and attacked her while she was still in bed. The mother was sleeping in her own room, but she heard something strange and woke up. When she woke up and came out, she actually saw the man. The man saw her too, and instead of fighting or trying to stay inside, he ran away very quickly. He didn't just run out the front door, he actually jumped off a balcony or a high deck to get away and escape into the night. It was very scary and shocking for the mother and the daughter. The really shocking thing about this case is that this new attack happened just a few blocks away from the Ramsey family's home. That means it was very close, almost in the same neighborhood. Even more surprising is the fact that the two girls actually knew each other. They were not strangers at all. They both went to the same dance school. They both liked to dance and perform, and they even performed together in local shows before these horrible things happened to them. So, they had crossed paths and shared some activities before. Even though these two crimes were so close in time and place and involved two young girls who knew each other, the police in Boulder did not really look into the idea that these two cases could be connected. They didn't seriously consider that maybe the same person could have done both things. They didn't compare the DNA evidence from both scenes or try to find similar clues that might link the cases together. Instead, they focused too much on the Ramsey family from the very beginning and ignored many other possible leads. To make matters even worse, in the case of the second little girl, the police actually threw away some very important evidence. One of the most important things they threw away was the bed sheets from the girl's bed where she was attacked. These bed sheets could have had DNA or other clues that might have helped find the attacker later. But because they were thrown away, it was impossible to go back later and test them when better technology became available. This mistake was a big failure and showed that the investigation was not handled carefully. After many years, in 2008, the Ramsey family was finally officially cleared as suspects in JonBenét's case. But by that time, JonBenét's mother, Patsy, had already passed away from cancer in 2006. Even though the family was cleared, many people in the public still believe that the family might have been involved. This idea stuck in people's minds for a long time because of rumors and the original stories spread by the police, not because of real evidence. The Boulder police had focused so much on blaming the family that they didn't look properly at other evidence or other suspects. This focus created a narrative that many people believed, and it was very hard for the family to live with that suspicion for so many years. Now, after almost 3 decades, there is finally a new investigation team looking at JonBenét's case again. This new team is made up of experienced investigators who are going back over all the old evidence very carefully. They are using new technology and fresh eyes to see if they can find something that was missed before. JonBenét's father, John, and her brother, John Andrew, are both hopeful that this new investigation will finally help find out the truth and bring justice for JonBenét. They believe that the real killer might still be alive and that there is still a chance to solve the mystery and clear their family's name forever. After hearing about another attack, all the mishandled evidence, and the small spark of hope for justice, what was really happening inside the wealthy Ramsey family's home that mysterious night? Let's take a closer look. The wealthy family and mysterious night. The case of JonBenét Ramsey is among the most challenging and shocking cases that is not solved in the history of America. People still talk about it and think about what actually happened many years later. This sad story involves a young girl, a very rich family, strange clues from neighbors, and her parents' behavior that made people think. Also, there were problems between the local police and the district attorney's office, which made the investigation even harder and more complicated. JonBenét's father, John Ramsey, was a successful businessman. He was the president of a company called Access Graphics. This company did so well that it made around $1 billion in gross revenue. Because of this success, John won the title of Entrepreneur of the Year in 1995 from the Boulder Chamber of Commerce. This big success made the Ramsey family look very rich. They lived in a large, fancy house with 3 floors in Boulder, Colorado. Even though they looked rich from the outside, John later said that they did not see themselves as rich. He said he kept working hard and never felt like he was super wealthy. Still, many people thought they were rich and spoiled, and the media also talked about them in this way. On the night of JonBenét's death, some neighbors saw and heard strange things. One neighbor said she heard a very loud scream. She called it the longest and most scary scream she had ever heard. She thought the scream came from JonBenét. She felt worried but also thought the parents would take care of it since they were at home. Another neighbor said he saw faint lights moving around inside the Ramsey kitchen late at night. This brings up a theory that Burke might have gotten into a fight with his sister over some pineapple she ate and accidentally hurt or even killed her. According to these theories, John and Patsy then covered up for their son by staging the scene to look like a home invasion. However, these theories fail to account for the DNA of an unknown male found on JonBenét's clothing. So after knowing about the family's wealth and that strange night, what odd behaviors and investigation problems came next? Let's take a closer look. Suspicious behavior and investigation problems. JonBenét's autopsy report showed undigested food in her stomach that appeared to be fruit or vegetables, possibly pineapple, suggesting she had eaten it shortly before her death. On the day her body was found, photos of the house revealed a bowl of pineapple with a spoon sitting on the kitchen table. However, both John and Patsy claimed they didn't remember placing the bowl there or feeding JonBenét that night. Investigators later reported that Patsy Ramsey's fingerprints were found on the bowl. John and Patsy Ramsey acted in ways that many people thought were strange after they realized JonBenét was missing. Patsy called 911 early in the morning at around 5:52 a.m. on December 26, 1996. When the police arrived, they noticed that John and Patsy did not stay close to each other. Instead, they avoided each other and did not offer consolation, which is not what most parents would do when their child suffers a traumatic event. When John later found JonBenét's body in the basement, he picked her up and brought her upstairs. Many people think he did this to hide something, while others believe he was just a sad and shocked father trying to help his daughter. In interviews, John said he thought maybe he could still save her or that it was just his first reaction to hold her. There were also big problems between the Boulder Police Department and the district attorney's office. On one hand, James Kohler, a lead investigator for the district attorney's office, said that more male DNA was also found on both the cord and the paintbrush, evidence that Boulder District Attorney Mary Lacey never publicly addressed. Kohler explained that in total, 6 separate DNA samples from unknown individuals were identified during testing. Former FBI profiler Candace DeLong believes that the consistent appearance of the same DNA in multiple locations strongly suggests it belonged to the person responsible. On the other hand, the district attorney's office wanted to look at all possible suspects, which included the parents, although there was not enough strong proof to arrest John and Patsy. These problems and disagreements between the police and the DA made the case even more confusing. It made it hard to make progress and find the truth. Because of the many mistakes, lost evidence, and different opinions among investigators, the real story of what happened to JonBenét remains a mystery. The Ramsey family's wealth and public image also played a big part in how the case was seen by people and the media. Many people thought that because they were rich, they might have been able to avoid being charged or treated differently. Others believed they were unfairly judged just because they had money and were in the public eye. In the end, JonBenét Ramsey's case shows how important it is to handle crime scenes carefully and to avoid jumping to conclusions too fast. It also shows what can happen when police and other law officers do not work well together. Today, the case is still unsolved. Many people continue to wonder who assassinated JonBenét and why. Her story reminds us of a young girl with a bright future who lost her life too soon and a family that will always live with questions and pain. The case remains one of the most talked about mysteries, and people still hope that one day, the truth will finally come out. What do you think about the mystery surrounding JonBenét Ramsey's death? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.